Okay, howdy everyone. It is about midnight in Rome right now, so I'm a little bit still on European time. So you guys are helping me stay awake and adjust back to time here in Texas. I got home around 8 last night, 8 p.m. at night, and it's that adjustment of getting back. But anyway, hello everyone. I wanted to do this live stream because I've had a few of you reach out to me and say, "What's going on? We haven't seen any new episodes. Where are you?" Basically, and wow, thank you, Bimmer Geezer. 2 weeks without that smile. You survived. It actually, yes, I counted, and we were out of the country for 16 days, which is pretty crazy. And part of that is crazy because we only planned originally to go to Ibiza or Ibiza for about 7 or 8 days. And then while I was in the Mediterranean Sea, I was like, you know what? We already flew here. It's quite easy to travel by train through some of the countries or even by plane. And so I looked to my boyfriend and I'm like, what do you say we extend the trip? And so we ended up going to Barcelona and we went to a couple cities in Italy. So I want to talk about that. Ross, who is a member of my channel, says, welcome home. Glad you were able to extend your holiday to 2 weeks in 2 countries. I'm glad to hear that I am missed. Or that I was missed. I will say it was quite an adventure. I actually have a video that I'm going to just play and talk over in a little bit here. But thank you for saying that, you missed my content. And I'm very happy because it turns out I did not miss a Starship launch. That was one of the hesitations that I had when deciding to extend the trip, because I was like, well, I don't want to miss the Starship launch if it's on September 8th. We all knew it wasn't going to be September 8th. So I was like, nope, we got to live live in the moment and make these decisions on the fly. And so I'm glad to hear that I was missed. So that is good to know. I will say I did make the Now You Know segments. I think at this point I've done 3 or 4 for the Now You Know team. So I made one of them in Ibiza and one of them in Italy, in Venice. I laugh every single time I say Ibiza. It just, I don't mean to laugh, but it sounds a little strange to me. So I guess let's just get started. I'm going to play some of the clips and I'm just going to talk over it. So sorry if you hear my cat. And you may, let's see. Yes, Ross wants to know, have I experienced any jet lag since you got back? I've been doing pretty well. I went to bed around like 5:30 a.m. Rome time. As you know, traveling to and from Europe, it's a long flight, and unfortunately, it wasn't a direct flight. So I just woke up, naturally this morning, and I got up around like 7:45. So which was really like 3 or something in Europe. So got some sleep, but I was feeling a little tired now that I'm talking to you guys and I have to be like awake right now. I'm feeling a little less tired, but it was nice to work out today at the gym. And Tanya says that long hair looks good. Thank you for noticing. I did put in a little bit of extensions, so I'm not going to keep it a secret. I'm glad you like it. Yes, I will get to that as well. Business class. So let's just roll the tape. Let's start talking about it because it was a really cool adventure. So let's see. Let me start this. Okay. So this was
you guys hear that?
Hotel in Ibiza. And here's just some B-roll of, I'm going to call it Ibiza because I'm more comfortable with that. But here is some B-roll of Ibiza. This was my first time out of the country since I was actually 11 years old, unless you count Mexico. Hadn't gone to Europe or anywhere significantly far away since I was 11. So it was pretty cool to see Ibiza. I didn't know much about Ibiza before the trip, other than that famous song by Mike Posner, I took a pill in Ibiza. However, I did not take a pill in Ibiza. So good to know on that. I had a couple people mention that and say, don't do it. But that is what it's known for. It is known for being a party town. They have one of the most famous, well, several famous clubs, but a club called High that is dubbed the best nightclub in the world. And so we went there, which was pretty cool. And we're going to get back to that in a second here. But aside from all the partying in Ibiza, there is also a lot of history. And one of the things that I really enjoyed doing was checking out Old Town, which is here I am. We just got dropped off by the taxi. And it was pretty cool to see kind of more of the historical side of Ibiza, not just all of the partying in the nightlife. And I will say, walking around near our hotel, you know, we would go to the convenience store or whatever. I really like Monster 0-calorie energy drinks. So yes, it is a vice. So get those a lot. But there were a lot of people on the street offering drugs. It was kind of funny. They would, well, Alan is asking, any panhandlers or scammers? More of the, I guess, kind of scammers in Europe, although I will say in Ibiza, because we're going to go chronological here. In Ibiza, a lot of people were offering drugs. So they would, you know, look at me and my boyfriend and say, hey, boss man, you need anything? Molly, acid, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the idea of buying drugs from a stranger is terrifying, I think. So did not do that. But yeah, if you want to do that, go to Ibiza. Apparently it is not that hard to get. Ross wants to know, did you stay at an all-inclusive at the resort in Ibiza? It was not all-inclusive. So we had to buy our own food, other places. And yeah, it was really interesting eating, you know, food in Italy, for example, food in Barcelona, challenging what I expected versus what I actually encountered. So I expected, you know, all of the food in Italy to be ranked the same. I don't think it is, but we will get to that in a little bit. Did I feel safe in Ibiza? I felt extremely safe in Ibiza. In fact, I don't think there was really any city that I felt unsafe out of all of the cities that we went to. So let me play this again. We got, speaking of this video here, this is one of the main activities that we did is walking. And I was really happy because I surpassed the 6-month mark of my femur surgery. And we were averaging, you know, 10 to 13 miles a day with a record of 15 miles on one of the days. And truly, that is one of my favorite things to do, is to walk for hours and hours. And I think, especially in Europe, it's extremely walkable. That's one of the fun things as a tourist, is you can walk to the Colosseum from your hotel. And we actually walked to the Vatican City, and you know, you fuel up with carbohydrates such as bread and pasta, and walk some more, and then maybe get some gelato. So it was really nice to be able to walk as much as we needed to and really not feel any hindrance there, because I don't know, I broke my femur 6 months ago. So, and here are some of just the beautiful sights. And we're still in Ibiza in this part of the video. I took a little bit more video in the beginning, and then, you know, I mean, we were gone for 16 days. So, but here's a view overlooking the ocean, just absolutely beautiful, or the sea, I should say. And there was a man playing the violin. So some street performers. Really, we didn't get into some of the more scam aspects until we were in Barcelona or Europe. I really didn't see any of this in Ibiza. However, in Barcelona, what they'll do is a man will come up to you and try to hand you a rose. And if you take that rose, then he's going to ask your boyfriend to pay up. So anytime someone came up to us trying to give us something, it's just an automatic no. Or if for some reason you take it, you put it down on the ground. And so it's like this awkward thing. But man, there were like so many people doing that. It was like, they must be making money. You know, the people selling water, I understand that. It was actually fairly hot in Rome, not compared to here in Austin, Texas. I thought that we would have escaped the heat, but unfortunately it's still 105 today. But yeah, so one of the, they're handing out either water or they're selling cell phone chargers, but a lot of them were trying to sell these roses. And of course, I didn't take any rose. So John wants to know, were the streets filled with electric vehicles? Okay, so of course my eyes were, searching for Teslas. I saw one Tesla in Ibiza, only one. That's not to say there aren't more, but I was looking pretty closely. There were other EVs there. I did see a lot of Teslas that were taxis in both Spain and Italy. So not nearly as many here in the US, but I did notice some taxis. However, it was interesting to me that most of them were taxis, the Teslas. So anyway, here's this nice gentleman playing instruments. We saw a lot of that. Here is just a little portion of my walk back to the Hard Rock Hotel. I went on this walk many times. Here's a little clip from this beach club called O Beach Club. And I will say some of these activities were a little bit, I don't know, interesting or different for me. As many of you guys know, I don't drink at all. I haven't drank for over 15, I guess it's over 16 years now. So, some of these activities were more drinking focused. However, obviously you can go sober, but I think maybe this beach club, would have been a different experience had I been drinking. But they still had cool theatrics like what you're seeing here. And interesting too, in Ibiza, a lot of Brits. So we actually flew through London, and man, if you're in London, lucky you, it's like a 2-hour flight. And the other thing I'll add is that particular flight from London to Ibiza was probably the smoothest flight I've ever been on in my life, which was kind of interesting. Thank you, Al, telling everyone to smash the thumbs up and subscribe to Ellie in Space. Again, this is not a video about space right now because I want to just recap my trip and, talk about some of the things. I can't even recap all of it in one video here. But anyway, good services. I flew on different airlines that I had never flown on before, obviously being in Europe. And let me pause before I get into this video because this is pretty crazy. This is part of the Sublimotion dinner. So I went to a restaurant in Ibiza called Sublimotion. It is a 12, 13 course, something like that, meal plus a show. So basically every meal, kind of, here's one of them, had a different theme, different plating. They had you in these, office chairs or swivel chairs that they could roll you around. And it was really insane. If you ever go and have the chance to do it, I would say do it. It is very expensive. However, very insane. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Yes, some of you guys are asking who's the boyfriend, a different boyfriend. This boyfriend is amazing. He treats me very, very well, and I'm very, very happy with him. So, yes, Ibiza. So anyway, this is Sublimotion, and it was just nuts. I mean, it started out with this woman singing, and going through several different courses, different themes. This was a rendition of Britney Spears. I think it's Toxic is the song. Anyway, so it's pretty unique experience. Here's kind of they're pretending that we're on a plane in this scene, for example, but very, very, the most unique dinner I have ever been to in my life. Absolutely. Yes, those did look like Starship heat tiles in the background. Some desserts. Okay, so we're about to get into the, yes. So Joe wants to know any EDM festivals, not any festivals, but this concert in particular, we went to Eric Prydz and Adam Bauer was also there. Funny enough, Eric Prydz is a pretty well-known EDM artist. He has that Call on Me song and What is Love. And I was a little bit disappointed because he didn't play either of those. So actually, during his entire set, I didn't know it was him because he didn't play the two songs that I knew him by. And then they switched artists and I was like, wait, that was Eric Prydz? So that was kind of weird. I don't think I'll be demonetized for the music because I'm not sure if you guys first of all, is my video very loud? Actually, you should probably tell me that because I can't hear it. I'm just going to turn it down just in case. But here is High Ibiza. So the club is called High. I will say it was kind of interesting seeing some of the other folks there. Different walks of life, shall we say. Okay, VO is low, if anything. Okay, so maybe it wasn't too high. And these glasses, for example, I actually have right here. We had a VIP booth and they came and handed out some souvenirs, and we were thinking that these were included. They were not. So these were stupidly expensive, and just be careful when you take things because you might end up having to pay for it. However, that's okay. But yes, I put some jewels on, on my forehead and decided to have some fun with the outfit, but it was definitely a very nice club. Yes. So anyway, High Ibiza, a great time. But I will say, even though Ibiza is known for the clubbing and the partying, I really enjoyed kind of seeing the old town and the hippie market and some of the more, I don't know, just cultural, wholesome aspects of Ibiza. Okay, Bimmer Geezer, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. He wants me to describe the best food in your travels. So let's make this a quiz. Okay, so you're going to guess. Did I have the best food in, and I'm going to be specific to the city, Ibiza, Barcelona, Venice, or Rome? Ibiza, Barcelona, Venice, or Rome? Where did I have, in my opinion, the best food? You might be surprised. Okay, so here we are. We're still in Ibiza. We had made plans at this point to extend the trip, and I was really glad to, because I was a little sad when we flew through London. Like I said, it's still very new to me to travel internationally. It feels crazy, right? You're like overnight on a plane, 9 hours. This is nuts. And so I wanted to be able to explore London, and we just didn't budget that into the trip. So it was really nice to be able to explore so many other cities and countries on our way out. I'm seeing some guesses here. I see a lot of Rome. I see one Barcelona. I see some Venice. So far, a couple of you are right, but not the majority of you. Okay, so here we are. This was when I got back from the club. This was about 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, I have not stayed up that late in a very long time. And so I decided to get a quick time lapse of the sunrise and then head straight to bed. Andrew says, come to London next, please. I really want to go to London, so I will make that happen. I really loved, I hate to say it, I loved the accents. I loved the accents of the flight attendants and then the people when we were going through the airport in London. So definitely want to make that happen and go to Scotland and go to Ireland. That's another trip that is on my mind. Yes. So anyway, so here we are. We are wrapping up our time in Ibiza at the Hard Rock. And then we're going to head off to Barcelona. So we had to get up pretty early to take the plane. Pretty short flight. It was about 2 hours. And here we are in Barcelona. This was my first impressions going into the taxi line. And I didn't really know much about Barcelona. Here's one of the initial pieces of artwork or architecture that we saw. And there was a lot of really interesting stuff to look at in Barcelona, in Spain, including the work of Gaudi, which was absolutely stunning. I actually, shamefully, embarrassingly didn't know much about Gaudi or La Sagrada Familia, La Pedrera, Casa Batlló, all of these places I didn't know existed, but now I do, and they were absolutely beautiful. So sorry, I'm trying to read some of you guys' comments. So I will say, whoever said Venice, you were right. I had my absolute favorite food in Venice. I thought all of the pasta, I tried several different types of pasta in Venice, and I absolutely loved Venice. So Venice has the best food, in my opinion. One of the things that I surprisingly did not like, and seems to be very popular in Spain, in Barcelona, is the tomato bread. And I was thinking that it would be like maybe a tomato spread that was kind of like sun-dried tomatoes or something. It's like bread with just kind of like almost like raw tomatoes just kind of like rubbed on there, and not really a lot of flavor. So if you really like that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. However, I learned that I did not like it that much, and ended up getting a lot of Italian food as well in Barcelona. One of the interesting things too that I read is that there are many more Italians that live in Barcelona than Spaniards that live in Italy. It's like I think the number was like 200,000 Italians in Barcelona compared to like 20,000 in Italy. Anyway, let me see some of these comments here. We did not do the ferry from Ibiza to Barcelona. We flew there. And Scott says Gaudi is great. Gaudi is absolutely phenomenal. This I don't think is Gaudi. This is just, I'm actually not sure. This was pretty close to the zoo. We ended up going to the zoo in Barcelona as well, which was also very enjoyable. This was pretty cool as well. This is from the Paradox Museum. So we have My bad. I muted myself. There were a lot of little museums in Barcelona. And one of the museums we went to is this one here called the Paradox Museum. And it had a bunch of different like optical illusions. This one had, a ton of mirrors. I posted a photo of me at a table playing poker with myself with like 6 of me. So a lot of really interesting little optical illusions here. And this was one of those cool rooms. I am glad that Dave Warner is happy to have me back. I'm really excited that I did not miss the launch. Now that I'm home, I'm ready to go there as soon as it's announced. I'm really hoping that it's next week. I'm actually going to see my parents a little later this month because they haven't seen me since I was in the hospital, and it's just important to see my family. So anyway, I really hope that it's like next week, because I will get in my car and I will drive. And I should mention too, because there was kind of an issue with my car. I left Sentry mode on and cabin overheat protection on when I left. And I randomly checked my Tesla app when I was like day 7 of the trip. So I was still in Ibiza. And I was like, oh my gosh, my car that I left at like 85% is at 38%, which means that if I'm gone for another, 9 days, it's going to be dead by the time I get home. So I turned off the Sentry mode and I turned off the cabin overheat protection, and it only sucked 2% over 9 days. So like phenomenal. The car I thought it was going to be very close to dead, even with turning those things off. And it's quite a relief to know that, Sentry mode does suck a lot of power, but now I know that if it's for sure off, then my car will likely survive. But if anyone scratches my car, I will not be able to have a video of them, which sucks. So anyway, let's go back to the video. This was funny too. This was like an AI piano. And we said, what is the meaning of life here? You probably can't hear it. And the piano said 42. The meaning of life is 42, of course, which I thought Elon would laugh at. I still got to post that on my X. So yeah, so here's more of the Paradox Museum. Another museum that we went to that I did not get any video of, but was interesting, is a sex museum. So we went to an erotic museum that was actually quite interesting. It went through, you know, kind of the history of sex through different civilizations and different cultures. And so you know, as silly as it sounds, it was very educational and yeah, so anyway, not sexual. Let's get back to business here. This is the Sagrada Familia. This is a work that Gaudi dedicated most of his life to, although fascinatingly enough, Gaudi, who created this, created many other amazing pieces of architecture. It's amazing that he was able to do so many different different works of art in one lifetime. And so this was his most famous work that he worked on, I think, for over 40 years of his life. And just absolutely stunning inside. If you haven't been able to see Gaudi's work in person, that is 100% a must do. And this was near the marina, I believe. We actually went to the aquarium in Barcelona as well. So yeah, okay. So here we are in Venice. Let me just make sure. Yes, so Ross says Sagrada Familia will be finished before Starliner carries crew. So Sagrada Familia, if you're not familiar, haha, see what I did there, is supposedly going to be completed in 2026. And that will also be on the 100th anniversary of the death of Gaudi, who was actually ran over by a tram. So I'm guessing that Barcelona in 2026 is going to be a very, very busy place to be. Speaking of busy places, that segues into my next point, which is that Italy, not so much Venice. I mean, it was pretty busy, but Florence and Rome were very, very busy. Like Florence, especially because Florence is, you know, a very small city, and it's kind of known for being charming and, you know, not as busy, and it was crazy busy. So anyway, this is in the hotel that we stayed at in Venice. I had to do a lot of stairs, which my knee didn't like very much. And I just love walking through these narrow streets and alleyways through the canals of Venice. Venice is one of those places where it'd be very easy to get lost. I'm glad that we had our phones with us because so many things, you know, look the same. You make a few turns and it all kind of looks the same. But it's a very romantic city and just definitely a must see. I have to say it was my favorite city that we went to in Italy. Okay, so John says, did you scout out any Gigafactory locations in Italy or Spain? I did think about Giga Berlin, so maybe someday I'll make my way to Berlin. Florence is Jay Alley's favorite city. Florence was great. However, I was kind of sick when I was there, so it kind of hindered my experience a little bit. And no, I did not get to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. However, I 100% plan to go back to Italy. That was one of the things, is that we wanted to hit so many things in about a week. So we spent, 3 days in Barcelona, 2 days in Venice, 1 day in Florence, which one day was too short, but I wanted to see it. And then 2 days in Rome. And so if I would have done it differently, I would have done 2 days in Barcelona, probably 3 or 4 days in Venice, and then 3 days in Rome. So anyway, we did not see David. I know, it was shocking. We did not see David. The line was too long. Unfortunately, we got there midday and we only had, we were leaving the next morning. So not enough time. One of the other bummers is that I wanted to climb the steps of the Duomo. However, I was kind of under the weather, so I'm kind of glad it didn't work out, but it was sold out by the point that we got there. We did see the Pieta, which is Michael, let's see here. Pieta, let me just make sure. Michelangelo's sculpture, which was phenomenal. It's crazy to think that he could sculpt that and at I think 23 years old. Ross says, yes, you can't do Italy justice in a single trip. I wholeheartedly agree with this. So it's good to know that I would love to go back there. And I really, really enjoyed the time that we had. And I still think it was well worth extending the trip. So anyway, here we are walking through an alley. And I, as many of you know, I did some of the Now You Know updates. So I thought that this was kind of a cool view here of me doing a SpaceX related update and having a gondola in the background. I mean, beautiful. Although a couple of people on the Now You Know channel said it looked like I was wearing a nightgown. So that surprised me, but whatever. If you don't like my wardrobe, you can send me money and I'll get new clothes. We used to have some people would like criticize what I wore on the news and they would send emails. Eliana looks like Big Bird in that yellow dress, whatever. And I'm like, then send me money to get a new dress because it's on my own budget. But here we are. You know, it's good to take a video so that you can take screenshots and get several different pictures. Life hack. You just take a video and then screenshot it so that you don't have to, tell anyone to take your picture. Although we did ask some people. But here we are. So we're still in Venice. It was pretty crowded, but definitely just unbelievable. I've wanted to go to Italy now for well over a decade, and it was kind of surreal to know, like, oh my God, holy shit, we're going, and we're gonna, it'll be real. This is really Italy. And Ivan says Berlin is my favorite German city. You should climb the Leaning Tower. Did this in 2007. Yes, so I will have to go to Berlin. I want to go all over. Actually, for sure, I know that we're going to go to Japan. That's very important to me. Ross wants to know, is my boyfriend well-traveled? Much more traveled than I am, which was actually quite nice to have someone who was experienced in that aspect to kind of, make me feel safe and secure. Because for some people, going to a different country can be very overwhelming. However, I did a lot better than I thought that I would do. Where I didn't start to do well is when I kind of got sick for a few days, which sucks because it's like, you don't want to be sick when you are traveling. You want to walk, so I still walked. I really didn't do a great job at recovering, but I also got like a bunch of bug bites in Ibiza. And so, and then like I had to get new shoes because my other ones were like pinching my feet. It's just like all these like little hiccups, right, that come with travel, but it's about how you respond to it and how you still like make the most of enjoying the moment, even if everything isn't perfect, because nothing will ever be perfect all the time. But yeah, so here's more of walking through Venice, tons of different, little vendors in all of the countries. And I will say too, it's interesting. If you want to get, for example, bug bite, this little after bite gel, you go to the pharmacia, you go to these pharmacies. So it's like you have your convenience stores, but you're not going to find Tylenol in the little convenience store. You have to go separately to a pharmacy. So I can only imagine someone from Europe coming to the United States and seeing somewhere like H-E-B, which is a giant, mega grocery store here in Texas. They would just be blown away. They would absolutely be blown away. So it's interesting too, just kind of going into it, not knowing much, right? Because I went when I was 11, so I didn't remember much of the cultural differences. But one of the other funny things that happened is that we really like Diet Coke, and there was no Diet Coke. There was Coke Zero, so whatever. But they give you the tiniest little bottles of, and only bottled Coke Zero. And so the most expensive thing, because we don't drink, at all of our meals was the soda. like, because we were getting refills essentially, which were not free. So that's one of the things in the United States. I also noticed that there was not a lot of air conditioning. And one of the things that I was not a huge fan of was all of the smoking. So people love to smoke in Europe. And one of the things I don't like is that they love to smoke outside. Like, they have these cute little tables set up, and I don't know. It's really hard for me to eat when I can like smell smoke. So no offense to you if you smoke, it's just a personal thing, but that is not something that you encounter as much really at all here in the US. At least you're not supposed to do that. Here we are, unless you're in Vegas. Here we are at the gondola. And it was cool too, because speaking of Vegas, I have been on the gondola at the Venetian, and let's just say the gondola in Venice was much bigger, and really, a lot of talent for those gondoliers. It's a very competitive profession, and they must have some really good balance there. Let's see. In the news, we often see Venice streets with ankle deep water. Did you experience that? We did not. Yes, we did not experience that. And here is a view from the tower in Venice. Elevator only, which is nice because that would have been an insane amount of stairs. After recovering from my leg break, do I feel like I can take on little challenges with greater confidence? Absolutely, Ross. I feel like now that I'm past that 6-month mark, and I just have that, experienced so much progress. One of the days I walked 15 miles. I mean, that's good for anyone. So I think I'm ready to start, pushing myself more and not worrying so much about my leg. Ellie, apart from bug bites, what's your favorite memory you bring from overseas? Something that brings you the most joy? Wow. What is my favorite memory? Oh, there's so many. I mean, definitely just like being awed by the Sagrada Familia, for example, or even just looking over the water in Venice, just kind of sitting and reflecting and seeing some of these beautiful sights, and eating some amazing food. So this, for example, I really enjoyed this moment, just sitting on a dock in Venice and looking at the reflection and the gondolas at night and hearing the music and, seeing people eating, and it was really quite special. So that is definitely one of my favorite memories that brings me joy. Yes, thank you, Ross. 15 miles after just 6 months is amazing. Proud of you. I'm very, very happy about that. And Uncle Yukon says 15 miles, I have to take a nap after 1 mile walking with the dog. Yeah. So, I would say my leg is like pretty good. The only thing that I notice is if I go downstairs, I feel down the stairs, not so much up the stairs, but I feel a little bit of like a hitch, kind of like a maybe similar to arthritis on my knee, but I think that is just going to get better with time. Tanya, you ask a great question. Did I buy souvenirs like t-shirts made in China, or did I buy authentic crafts from the cities you visited? I was very diligent about making sure whatever I bought was, unique to the area. So for example, we went to the hippie market and I bought a handmade pullover sweater from this woman. She made it by hand. So I'd say that's pretty authentic. I went to a store in Rome to get my boyfriend a polo shirt, and it was like a store that had been there for over 100 years, made in Italy. Or, even if it was sort of more of a department store, like a box, big box store, it was something that I didn't have here in the United States. I'm not, there was plenty of Guess and H&M and, stores that we have here. And no, not going to go there. So yes, I think that was important to do. thank you for the super chat, John. And you say in Minnesota, they just legalized marijuana. So we got to deal with that. People smoking outside smells like dead skunk. Yes, it can smell like skunk. And I still think cigarettes are worse. But I think if I'm eating food and I want to enjoy the smell of my pasta, I don't want to smell any smoke whatsoever. So I basically ate inside for almost all the meals. I felt bad. I wasn't trying to be a party pooper here, but and thank you. Yes, this is again one of my favorite views. And here is a little clip from the water taxi. So we decided, in Venice there are no cars. So, when we got there, we had our bags and we got dropped off as close as we could. And then we had to walk through Venice with all of our bags. We were pretty sweaty by the end of this, to our hotel. Now, leaving there, I didn't know that the water taxi was so cheap. I think it was like 11 euros or so, or maybe it was like 10 euros per person to go to the train station. And so we did that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought that I was going to feel sick on the water taxi. It was almost like, a cheap boat ride. But the only issue that I had with it is that whole day, including that night, I felt like laying in bed. I just felt like I was waving still. It was so weird. And I'm not used to that. I think it was like the water taxi combined with the train. My senses were just like so confused. And so it was very strange being in bed, feeling like I was still rocking. So I don't know if you're more familiar with this, or if you ever get that. It is a trip and something that I don't really want. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Out of context with Europe, but do plan at some stage to go to Egypt. Fantastic holiday option. Hey, I want to see it all. I think Egypt would be incredible. So that is a great idea. And I think, yes, you make a good point. I'm back for the second launch. Good timing. It is good timing. And I'm really glad that I did not miss the Starship launch. And, pretty unclear when exactly that is going to be. So here we are. This is a view from the water taxi. And here is a little clip from the train, which was also quite pleasant and a lot more comfortable than I was expecting it to be. So, it was actually kind of nice to be able to see the countryside and see different parts of Italy versus, if I were doing this all the time. It was all new to me, so it's all interesting. And here they had like a little coffee maker actually on the train. I didn't try it, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And a vending machine with some European snacks that are pretty foreign to me. Obviously, this is the Colosseum. We saw Elon Musk post about being at the Colosseum a few months ago. There's a shot of him, overlooking from inside of the Colosseum. This was a proposed area for the supposed Zuckerberg/Musk fight. It sounds like Italy actually is not going to let them fight in the Colosseum, which I think is unfortunate. They could make a lot of money. But yeah, so the Colosseum, we did not get to go on the inside. It was quite crowded and we didn't get tickets in time, but very beautiful from the outside, especially beautiful at night, and a little smaller than I was expecting, but nonetheless, amazing to see some of the, ancient sites here in Rome in the Eternal City. I mean, just look at this. It really blew my mind. It really blew my mind. And, I live here in Austin, Texas, and it just shows you, this is the Trevi Fountain, by the way. Yes, I did make a wish. Hopefully it comes true. Really blew my mind. I live here in Austin where everything is new and really new compared to walking around in Rome. So it gives you some appreciation for everything that we have done as humans. And here are some of the guards in the Vatican City. So I don't know how they do that all day. It's nuts. Stephen wants to know, did I see the cat sanctuary beside the Colosseum? I did not. And I wish I would have known about that because I would have loved to see that. let's see. Okay. Yes. So anyway, here we are in the Vatican City, and this is where that Pieta sculpture is. The Let's see. Yes. How many of you guys have seen Pieta in person? Um, let's see. Let me see. 1 second. Yeah. How many of you guys have seen that in person? Okay. Jay Alley says he has. Yes. Vatican City is the smallest country. It was really interesting, like just being able to walk there. Yeah, so here are some views of the church. The video doesn't do it justice. Dave says he's never been out of North America. He's envious. Try to go in your lifetime. Here we are at the Roman Forum, and this was quite interesting because we kind of didn't have much planned, and the Colosseum was way sold out. And so we stumbled on this, and it was actually huge once we got behind the pay line, the Roman Forum. We just got to walk through all different sides. And here you can see, what is this? Yeah. I mean, just look at that. Very, very crazy to see that in person. Did I miss my Tesla? A little bit, but I really like walking. And I will say it was nice to be able to be in a climate where it wasn't oppressively hot like it still is here in Texas. It's like 105 degrees. And so interesting. So the Vatican also has a railway. Yeah, we just decided to walk because why not? How warm was the weather? The weather was the warmest in Rome. And it was about like 92, 95 degrees. So still, not as hot as Texas, but pretty warm. It wasn't nearly as bad in Venice, and I really enjoyed having a break. But yeah, here are just some more views from the Roman Forum. And this was on our last full day in Rome. So we made the most of it. I took a time travel back to the 90s, clearly with my outfit there. But hey, I needed a bucket hat, and they were €5. So Ivan says, Ellie, one day you should visit my home as a boy, the island of Vis in Croatia. I would love to go to Croatia, go to Greece. So I definitely have. I feel like I've been bitten by the travel bug, and I definitely want to get back to business here in Texas, but traveling I think is really important, especially before I have kids. So overall, what did I think the biggest differences were between Europe and the US? Oh, wow. Well, definitely much more walkable in the European, like all of the European cities that we went to. So much more walkable. The differences between like the supermarkets, like I was saying, it was kind of more like segmented, and you had your pharmacy and your little kind of grocery store, whereas here you have things like Walmart. And I noticed that it didn't seem like a lot of Europeans were like drinking water like we do here. Like we had to, ask for a lot of refills, and I didn't really see many people carrying around water. It just seemed like, I don't know. And even like the cup sizes were very small, just different. It's just different. What else? A lot more smoking. The public transportation is much better and quite pleasant, actually. And people seem to eat a little bit later in the day. And yeah, I'm sure I'll think of some more. Okay, so listen, this last segment is the plane. And the plane, we were able to fly business class. I'm very grateful that I had this opportunity. I've never flown business or first class, whatever. It was kind of the same thing. But it was so much more comfortable, even though I didn't really sleep. Sorry, my cat is. All right, you want to come in? You want to come in? Are you going to be bad? Hey. Man. Okay. No jumpy. I just sprayed my cat and he just stands there. Can you get out? Oh, okay, fine. You want to sit? You don't just want to be sprayed? I'm literally spraying it. You're wet. Spraying him and he's just standing there. Okay. Yeah, the cat does like me being home. So sorry, he's going to be here. Anyway, my point with that long-winded response there is that flying in business class was fantastic. Here are some views. I had my own little cubicle, my own little cubby, and I wasn't really able to sleep just because it was kind of hard to sleep. I tried to sleep. However, just being able to recline and like lay on your back and have your own space was amazing for being on that long of a flight. Oh my gosh, I loved it. That's on the way there. Here's on the way home. I was watching the movie I, Tonya, which is about Tonya Harding. Very good movie, by the way. But here's just a view of the cubicle. They give you, nice headphones to use. Very, very, very expensive. However, if you can afford it, it's pretty nice. Just saying. So anyway, that's my video. That's my video. And thank you for saying welcome back. I'm glad to be back. Like I said, it's almost 1 a.m. in Rome time. So I am a little bit tired, but I don't want to go to bed too early because I gotta, adjust back to the United States. Did I swim in the sea? I swam in the Mediterranean Sea in Ibiza, which was really fun. The temperature was just perfect. Thanks for listening to that recap. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the trip. It was much longer than I was originally expecting it to be. I'm really glad that I didn't miss Starship. Like I said, I'm ready to go with that. Tanya wants to know, did I talk with local people? I talked with a lot of the people who were serving us. So whether that be the waiters at the restaurants, we arranged some private rides to and from the airport. So talked with some of those folks, talked with the gondoliers. And one of the interesting things is that one of my favorite dishes is called aglio e olio. So it's basically a combination of garlic, olive oil, and red pepper flakes. And I saw it on the menu at like 2 or 3 places, but it was very hard to find. And so I went to one of the restaurants and I had it earlier and I was like, man, I really want that again. And so I asked the waiter if they could just make that. This was in Rome. Can you just make that for me? And he was like, yeah, we can. But the reason you're not seeing it is that this is a dish that we make at home. We make aglio e olio every day. It's like, what you make at home. So we're not going to serve that, or we're not going to put that on the menu because we want to give you stuff that you wouldn't have at home. So that was really interesting to me, that the thing that I wanted was kind of like, whatever for them. However, I really liked it. So I went to like 3 different restaurants and I was like, hey, I know you have this wonderful menu, but I'm basically going to say F that and ask you for what I want. I felt very, very American there, but I don't think they were offended. I think they were more like, seriously, you want that? When you could have like, some of the more fancy stuff that we're selling. But anyway, I did it. So I asked them for what I wanted. You ask and you shall receive. Both of my cats are on the table. And it was interesting too to talk to the gondoliers. They were saying that they work, like 12-hour days. And it's interesting too, because they have to balance on these really long gondolas. And I was expecting to see like mostly, very fit men, and some of them were older and maybe not so fit. So interesting. I'm just calling it like it is. And yes, I definitely can learn how to cook. I actually know how to cook aglio e olio. They were very accommodating. Funny you ask, I actually took 2 semesters of Italian in college. And so I was able to practice a little bit. Where I really knew a lot of the language was Spanish. I speak a lot of Spanish. And so in Ibiza, I was able to speak a lot of Spanish and get by just fine. In Italy, I knew some of the stuff, but not really much. Interesting. Okay, so Brian says, I went to Italy in May, Florence and Rome. So we went to the same places. It was the most amazing trip. Italy is wonderful. And it's crazy to see. Actually, Italy is quite small compared to the United States. The United States is about 32 times bigger than Italy. So if that gives you an idea. But interesting, you thought that Madrid sucked. I have not been to Madrid. I will say I liked Barcelona, but like Venice stole my heart. Whereas Barcelona, I really enjoyed the architecture, but it wasn't like, oh God, I want to go back there every year. So again, I'm just being honest here. I hope I'm not offending people, but you guys like honesty more than not. And Tank Watcher Vince, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for listening to my thoughts about my trip. I know that I've been a little bit MIA on my YouTube channel, and I've had some people reach out and say what's going on. So I thought that I would just get on here and explain as much as I could. So now that I've been bitten by the travel bug, and I will say, some of you guys know that I've struggled with like flight anxiety, and I did quite well. I really didn't worry too much, even though it was like a long flight. So those big planes are pretty crazy, honestly. Ross says he's not surprised to hear that Venice was my favorite city. So I was kind of thinking that maybe Rome would be my favorite city, but Venice is the place that if you could transport me back there right now, I'd go. Michael, thank you for watching my trip updates. I tried to provide some, but it was also really nice to just be in the moment. And yes, Giole, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Those cities are the most popular, but actually Italy has so many more places like the Alps mountains and the sea in the south. It's impossible to visit it all. I'm Italian and I didn't yet. So I definitely want to go to the Amalfi Coast, for example. I'd like to go to Sicily. I'd like to go to a lot of places. So I think Italy is back on the agenda for another trip for sure. Yes, great company on my trip helped my anxiety. Absolutely. I think my boyfriend was very supportive of me, even when I said irrational things like, we're okay, even though it's a little turbulent right now, right? So it's really nice to have that support, because like I said, for some people, going out of the country and leaving, what they know is quite scary. But I love it. I'm glad to hear I was missed. Thank you for saying my hair looks great. Yeah, and this is random. I got home last night and I was like, you know what? I think I want to get a little bit of extensions. So I did that today. So thank you. Because I took some pictures. I'll tell you why. I took some pictures on the trip and I didn't bring a straightener. So first of all, I didn't bring a straightener, but I was like, so this is my hair when it was on the trip. And I was just like, it kind of looks thin. And so anyway, that's what my hair looks like now. And I like it. Gosh dang it. I'm going to say it. So it was a great trip. And I guess I could just do this now. I had someone reach out to me. I don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea to do it now. I had someone reach out to me. As many of you know, sometimes people reach out to me with different products or different interesting things. So I have not actually set this up yet, but this is a Starship model that apparently vents. It's a humidifier, but it vents and it really looks like the real thing. So I'm just gonna open it while we're doing this because why not? Because you guys are, some of you still hanging out and I need to not go to sleep right now. Because thank you for saying my hair looks good. I really like it. Okay, this actually might take a while. So this is some of my setup, and this is a company called Stardesk. So we'll see what it looks like at the end. And yes, 4,900-mile coastline, impossible to see it all. Yep. Okay, Steven says Marcus House has something like this in his backdrop. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is not going to take 2 seconds there. Why is there like a motherboard in there? What's going on here? Okay, well, anyway, this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So it does vent, which I think is pretty dang cool. But, well, this might be something I need to look up the directions. However, yes, so that is my recap. I'm really glad that I went out there and I saw some of the world. I'm extremely glad that my leg held up because that was one of my hesitations, shall we say. And yeah. Okay, so Uncle Yukon says keep the stream going. I have 2 more hours before another stream, so you know what? We are going to try to set this up. Okay. Assembly guide. Oh, they even have a video. Well, look at that. Okay.
Welcome to the Stardesk assembly guide. By now, you should have all 18 of the 3D printed pieces here.
18 pieces?
As the rest of the components that came with your kit. We're going to start.
18 pieces? My God. All right. Yes. John says the cats will knock my venting Starship over. They've been knocking over everything. Some assembly required, batteries included. Okay, so I guess we're just gonna start because why the heck not? I should probably. Oh wow, this is crazy. I guess it's kind of like a fun little do-it-yourself. Oh, Saturn 556. You should separately build that with Marcus online. Oh, not a bad idea. Try yeah, so I don't know. Oh wow, look at that. It's like a 3D printed star base. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so let's see here. Very interesting that they have you do a lot of work here. And Stephanie from Australia, howdy. That is somewhere that I also would like to go someday. What do you guys think of Australia? Do you recommend it? Okay.
The black base, the micro USB splitter, and the LED strip. First, we'll plug in the LED strip into the shorter end of the micro USB splitter.
Okay, first I gotta plug in an LED strip into the shorter end of the micro USB splitter. What the heck, man? This is kind of a lot. Thank you for saying that I look really good. That's very sweet of you. That is very sweet of you. Also, one of the books, so I've seen this movie, but I haven't read the book. I am halfway through The Silence of the Lambs. Spooky. It's actually really good so far. So yes. And by the way, I got a wonderful piece of snail mail. So if you guys want to send me a letter, thank you. I am going to be getting back to that because I just checked my mailbox today, but I do have a UPS box that I just renewed. So if you guys feel like sending me a letter, that address is on my channel. And thank you to the people who send me letters. That's very sweet of you. Marcus does have the same one and has a link to Stardesk in the description. Okay, so he has this. All right, so let's find this. Okay, this must be, I think this is the splitter. Yeah, this looks like a split thing. This is quite more, this is quite involved here. I'm here watching from Melbourne. Come on down under Ellie. You will have the best time. If I went to Australia, would you say go to Melbourne or Sydney, or do I have to do both? Because that was one of the questions I had. Okay. I don't know if I am doing this right. Let's see here.
Then we can insert these into the base.
Okay. Oh, okay. Both. Okay. What is next on your travel bucket list? So I am actually going to Portland soon to see my parents again. Yeah, you can't go to sleep until you finish assembling your Starship. I don't know how long this is going to take me. This is quite involved. I do want to go to Japan. I think I'm going to wait until the spring. And I want to go to Greece.
Slot
I want
right
to go
here
back to Italy at some
go.
point. Let's see here.
And you'll want to put the side with the shorter wire in first. As you put...
Dang, this is like for real. Australia is a long haul getting there. I do still recommend it. Yeah, it is. And Michael, you make a good point. So you've combined New Zealand and Australia. I feel like you would have to. If you've taken that time to go all the way there, you got to do it. Okay, so hold on. I'm not ready. I might need to like focus on this, guys. I don't know if I can multitask here. This seems a little bit involved. However, once I know how hard it is to set up, I will let you know if I recommend it. Yes, cherry blossoms in Japan. It would be great to see those. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. If you guys don't care, I guess it sounds like some of you guys want to see me do this. Okay.
Into the base. You'll see a slot right here where the...
Oh, so I'm not seeing the slot because why? Oh, because it's not exposed. I covered it too soon. Okay, now I know. Yes, visit Rocket Lab in New Zealand. That would be a great reason to go. Okay, let's see here. No. Pinocchio. You can't jump on the desk. You can't do it. Oh, he's gonna be mad. I put him in the other room. He can't do that. He can't jump on the desk. He's too big. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you may love meows, but I can't do three things at once. Okay.
And you'll want to put the side with the shorter wire in first.
Put the side with the shorter wire in first.
Push it in. You can curl the wires around. And there's a spot in that bottom corner where you can shove the shorter wire.
Oh my God, you guys. Okay. This is I didn't know that this was gonna be something that I had to do. Okay. Oh, it fit. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too tired yet, and I certainly don't want to go to sleep at 6 p.m. It's too early.
Then we'll slide the LED strip into its place. You'll see a thin groove where the LED will sit with the lights facing forward.
Oh, so this is like lighting the Starbase sign. Well, that's kind of cool. But it's also kind of, this is something, you guys. This is something. I'll say that. Okay. However, I will say this. If I can do it, you can do it. Although, I don't know why I'm giving myself so much shit. I did build my own PC once, so... okay. All right. Let's see here.
It should be a pretty tight fit. But
This is like a 14-minute video, by the way. This is a 14-minute installation.
be sure to slide it all the way down. And make sure the USB splitter is pushed all the way down as well.
Okay, it is.
For now, you can tuck the final wire into the base so it's out of the way.
Okay.
Next, we'll put the reservoir in the base. The large hole will be towards the left side of the base.
Next, we'll put the reservoir in the base. So, Ellie, have you got your engineer's hat on? I'm trying, guys. I didn't know that this was so involved. But we will see how it goes. I do think it looks pretty cool once it's set up. I will say I have, you know, some people reach out to me with different products, and some of them I think are, this one seems really cool, but I would assume that most of you would want to set this up. I could be wrong, but I feel like most of you would want this little project. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. Yeah, Mitchell says that Warren Redlick is in Japan. He just moved there, so that's pretty cray-cray. Just moved there. So good luck for him. I know that he has lived there in the past, and he actually knows a lot of Japanese, so I think he'll do just fine. Okay, so here's the reservoir. Let's see here.
And just drop it in.
Okay, so just drop this in. Drop it in, baby. All right, we are not anywhere near done yet. Ellie will be ready for an engineering job with Musk. That's right. This is all I need to do.
Now we'll take the clear Starbase letters and the front panel piece that will hold the letters. And you'll just have...
Now we'll get the clear Starbase letters that I just showed you. And the front panel piece that'll hold the letters. Okay, how does this go? Okay.
Push the clear letters into that piece from the backside. Then you'll slide those pieces into the front of the base.
Okay, so push the clear letters into that piece from the backside. Okay, okay. Yay. That looks pretty good. I mean, seriously, it looks pretty good. Okay.
Into the two grooves on the front. Next, we'll put the...
Okay, slide it into the grooves. I will say, as much as I wasn't expecting to have to assemble all of this, so far it has been pretty easy. Okay. I want to know how many of you are planning to go to Starbase if there is a launch next week. If there was a launch next week, are you going? Because I am.
All clear button in its place. You'll see a little slot here with walls on either side where the buttons sit.
Clear button. Oh, so good to have our sunshine back. I'm glad so many of you guys enjoy my presence and my channel, because sometimes I kind of wonder, you know, what am I really doing? And that is very nice to hear that you appreciate my channel. I know that we have a lot of really exciting events coming up, particularly with Cybertruck soon here, and the next Starship launch. I'm really excited to kind of get back to some of those in the field stories. Okay. You want to see how... Yes, you want to see the assembly. I'm not sure if you would be able to see it. It might be kind of hard to show you, but I can keep showing you the progress. So this is where we're at so far. So we're working on the base. Dat Taco Guy says Starbase is a yes for me. Okay.
And we need to make sure we orient the button correctly. If you look closely, you can see and feel a little groove on one side of the button. That groove will be facing up. So you'll just have to drop the little button into its place, and if you push it all the way forward, it should stick out the front a little bit.
Hey! Yay!
Next, we'll start assembling the launch mount.
Next,
For this, you'll need the launch mount piece, the humidifier disc, and the circuit board.
The launch mount piece, the humidifier disc, and the circuit board. Like, dang. This thing is crazy.
As a note, be very careful with the small black and red wires throughout the installation. They can be fragile, especially where they attach to the disc. The first thing we'll do is plug the disc into the circuit board. You'll see there's a groove on the little white clips that you'll have to line up so you don't do it backwards. Push that.
Okay. Okay, it's an ultrasonic vaporizer. Okay, well, it's pretty interesting. And I will say the website that I ordered it from, very, very professional. Caleb, who reached out to me, got this shipped to me very quickly. So very impressed with the company so far, but was not expecting to install it myself and assemble it. Okay, so I think we did that right.
Now we'll put the humidifier disc into the launch mount. But you need to make sure you have it the right way. The little
Okay. Now the other cat is getting in the way, and we got 18 3D parts, so we've got to put you in the other room too. You guys say goodbye. Say goodbye to Ollie. Say bye. Okay. Okay. Hey. Sorry, you gotta go in the other room. Sorry, buddy. No. Sorry, guys. There's too much going on with those cats. There's too much going on with those cats there. Okay. All right.
Red wires connect on the top side of the disc, and the bottom side has the smooth rubber gasket going all the way around the disc, and the top has the gap for the wires. So with the bottom facing down, we can start inserting it into the top of the launch mount. Again.
Okay, with the bottom, bye Ollie. This is not an electrics channel. Okay, with the bottom facing down. All right. I got it. Okay.
Make sure you orient it correctly. The wires will be lined up with the slot in the launch mount. As you slide it down, it will be a tight fit. Make sure you push evenly on it and the rubber gasket doesn't get caught up.
This guy sounds kind of sad in his tutorial. I think we need a little bit of excitement here. Okay. Pushing it down to tight fit. I think I did it right. Amazingly. Oh, poor Ollie. You guys, I have too much stuff going on right now.
Push it all the way down.
Okay, I pushed it down.
And if you need to remove the humidifier disc for any reason, don't try to pull it out with these wires. Instead, take one of your white wicks and push it up underneath your launch mount.
So they give you these so that you can remove it.
Now we'll take one of the white wicks, and before we install it, you'll actually want to run it under a faucet. We'll be testing everything soon, and this will make that easier. When the wick is dry, it can actually take a while to soak up water.
Okay, so now I got to go get this wick wet. So hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. You guys are dropping bombs in the chat. Hold on. Okay, got it wet. Mitchell says, you may have missed Joe's breaking news. Tesla is moving robo-taxi and $25,000 low-cost card on. Not surprised. Interesting. I did not know about that. I did miss that news. So good thing I'm back. Okay.
All the way. So once you've gotten it wet, we can insert it into the launch mount. It will go in the center hole, and you'll put the flat edge of the wick in. The angled edge should be sticking out.
Okay. Put the flat edge in. The angled edge needs to be sticking out.
And push it all the way up so it's up against the disc.
Push it all the way up. All
Next,
right.
we'll place the launch mount on top of the reservoir and slide the wick into the center hole in the reservoir. This is important. The wires should be sticking directly towards the left side of the reservoir, like this. Now we'll plug the other part of the micro USB splitter into the circuit board.
Jeez, this is like crazy, guys. Okay, let me get the other part of the micro USB connected into the board. Hold on. Hold on, I need something to fish it out. Fish it out. What are we building? 1010. Hello, 1010. My buddy from Twitch. We are building a Starship humidifier that vents, and it apparently looks like the real thing. However, they sent it to me, and I did not know that I was going to have to assemble it myself. So we are now needing to get the thing out of here. Hold on. Ellie, you are so determined on getting this Starship up. I am. Well, you know, it's Saturday night and I gotta be doing something to stay awake because I'm still on European time and it's like 1 a.m. right now. So kind of want to sleep, but I don't want to sleep actually. Oh, here we go. Scissors. There we go. Okay. I had to get the cord was a little bit too deep in there. So now we're going to plug the cord into the board. The cord in the board. Cord in the board. Okay. Okay. I think that's right.
And then we can slide the circuit board into its spot in the base. There's a tiny little groove in the base right here. That's where the edge of the board will go. And the top of the board will be facing forward. Before we slide it in though, make sure the clear button is pushed all the way forward because the black button on the circuit board will be sliding directly behind it and it will be tight fit. So go ahead and slide the board down into place, making sure the button is fitting. And once it's all the way down, you can try pressing the clear button from the front and you should hear and feel it click. And make sure the USB wire is tucked into this groove. Now that the electron...
Oh dear. Hold on, guys. Interesting. I think... No. Okay, this is where it's starting to get tricky. A little bit tricky, but that's okay. I think that does... Houston, we have a problem.
We're going to do a quick test of everything.
Okay, we're going to do a test.
So get your micro USB cord and plug it into a power bank.
Okay, get your micro USB cord, plug it into a power bank. Oh my God. This is just crazy. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to plug it in. And where's that little
computer or whatever. Plug it into the back of the base, and you should notice right away that
plug it into the back of the base? Oh, derp, it's right there. And you should notice right away that what? Oh! Wow! Oh.
strip turns on. These lights are always on while Stardust is plugged in. And now we'll push the button on the front. And as long as your wick is still wet, you should see a little geyser of water. You'll also notice a blue light turn on, indicating the humidifier is on. If we push that button again, the blue light will start blinking. This is another mode called intermittent venting mode. What it does is run the humidifier for 10 seconds and then turn off for 5 seconds and repeat. And then pushing the button one more time turns it off. If the humidifier doesn't seem to be working, make sure the wick is wet and make sure it's touching the bottom of the disc. If it still doesn't work or the light doesn't work, use our website to contact me and we'll get it figured out.
Okay, I'm impressed.
All right, so we can unplug it again and keep going.
Okay.
Before we do, you'll notice that you have a second wick. Eventually, these can get old and go bad, so you can use this one if you ever need to replace it.
Replacement
it's
wick.
It's a good idea to just stick it in this slot in the base along with the wire, so you won't lose it.
Man, they've thought of everything.
Next, we'll need the bottom half of the tower. All we need to do is place it on the reservoir right about here. But you'll need to make sure it's facing the correct way. There's a little L on one of the corners, which needs to be on the front left side, like this. Now we're ready to put the lid on top of the base. Obviously, this has to face the right way too. The diamond hole is what will go over the tower. So get that lined up, and then slide it down over the tower piece.
Okay, I think I'm actually doing this right. Which is crazy. And you know what? As much as I didn't really want to build this myself, I think I changed my mind. It's kind of fun. Okay, we're still going.
Get it over the launch mount, making sure that the wires are still going towards the left.
Oh, shit.
So get your micro USB cord and plug it into our website to contact me, and we'll get it figured. It's facing the correct way.
Okay.
There's a little L on one of the corners, which needs to be on the front left side, like this. Now we're ready to put the lid on top of the base. Obviously, this has to face the right way too. The diamond hole is what...
I think I put the lid on wrong. Oh, yes, I did. Okay. Okay, so whoop. And also this thing, apparently you can 3D print it yourself as well. So they have an option for you to 3D print it and then also just get their version that's printed and then you can do it yourself. Okay, so back to where we were.
The tower. So get that lined up and then slide it down over the tower piece.
It does include some chopsticks.
Then get it over the launch mount, making sure that the wires are still going towards the left. And making sure that the 6 support posts fit nicely in the little grooves in the lid.
Okay.
The lid will start pushing the wires down. Just make sure they don't get pinched.
Okay.
Also make sure that the wires aren't visible in this space right here. If they are, just tuck them towards the front of the base.
All right.
And then to snap it into place, just push down on the 4 clips on the edges.
All right. Snap.
You may feel some resistance, but don't be afraid to push hard. And make sure it's pushed all the way down. You're able to remove this lid, which is why there's 2 grooves on either side, but try to do it gently if you have to. It's best to just leave it on if you don't need to remove it.
Okay, we're still going.
Okay,
but
now
this
we
is
can
what it
actually
looks
put
like so
all
far.
this to the side. And for this next part, we'll need the top half of the tower, a small hook, and the catching arms.
Top half of
And
the
also
tower.
the braided
Top half of the tower, small hook, which I gotta find, and then the catching arms. Is this? This is not a small hook. Oh, it's in here. There are a lot of pieces. 18 pieces here. Okay.
line that comes in your kit.
Oh, and the line.
We're going to be threading the black line through all these pieces, so it helps to lick your fingers and get the end of the line wet, so it's easier to thread through the parts. First, we'll thread it through the catching arms.
What?
There are two small circular holes near the top,
Dude, what?
right behind where it swivels. Thread about half the line through both of these holes, just like this. Next, we'll take the top.
Okay. Now, this is getting kind of weird. I have to like thread these parts together. And it's a little hard to see where he's doing this. Okay, I need to replay that part. Sorry, guys. It's kind of hard.
So it's easier to thread through the parts.
So here's my thread.
First, we'll thread it through the catching arms.
Okay.
There are two small circular holes near the top, right behind where it swivels.
So here's where it swivels. Two small. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Two. Are those circles? Oh, yeah, they look like circles. Right behind where it swivels. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the super chat again. Ellie Gwen Shotwell will be calling you Monday. Doubt it, but that is very sweet of you, Bimmer Geezer. I found.
Thread about half the line
Let's
through
see.
both of these holes,
Half the
just
line
like this.
through both of these holes. Just.
Next, we'll take the top half of the tower, and you'll notice two holes underneath the overhang.
Okay. Okay. Oh, my sister's calling me. I gotta call her back after this. All right. After I'm done assembling this, I gotta call her back. Okay.
Tower right here. We're going to thread one end of the line through one of those, and the other end of the line through the other. So take one end of the line, and don't pull it too far. Be sure to keep the catching arms on the line. But take the line and push one end into one of these holes. Doesn't matter which one. And push it in until you see it appear out the back of the tower. You may have to finesse it a little bit. Pull it through some more.
What? Now it's getting a little weird, guys. This is getting a little weird. Okay, we have to. Okay. Just kind of jams. Hang on, sis. I'm building a Starship.
So take one end of the line, and don't pull it too far. Be sure to keep the catching arms on the line. But take the line and push one end into one of these holes. Doesn't matter which one. And push it in until you see it appear out the...
Oh, okay. So we are supposed to push it in from the top, and then it's going to come out of the back. Ah, it did! Wow! Hey. Okay, so now we have threaded the catching arms, and we've partially threaded part of the tower, because for some reason we have to. Okay?
Of the tower. You may have to finesse it a little bit.
Okay.
Pull through some more, and then we'll do the same thing with the other end of the line.
What?
But this time through the other hole underneath the tower.
Oh.
And you can pull both these lines as...
Okay. Now we have to, yeah. Ivan said, Ellie, you laugh in the face of jet lag. Yeah, I'm trying to get back to normal schedule. I will say it's kind of nice to have the reverse effect of just waking up kind of early. It's actually probably not that early. 7:45 is not that early, but for me it is. I'm kind of a late, I'm a night owl. So, okay. So now we are...
as you can.
Okay.
Finally, we'll thread just one end of the line through the eye of the small hook.
One end of the line through the eye.
Thread through and then slide the hook all the way towards the tower piece.
Okay.
Then we just need to tie the two ends of the wires together.
Okay.
A simple overhand knot is all you need.
A simple overhand knot.
Take the two ends and line them up, then loop them around your finger. Then put both ends through that loop and tighten up.
Man, this is... Hello, Blakester says, welcome back. Thank you for watching. We are building a Starship humidifier right now because why not? We did a little recap of my trip, which went really well. It was amazing. And it's currently like 1 a.m. right now in my body. So I'm trying to stay awake. Okay, I just made a knot.
You don't want to lose too much of the line, so try to push that knot fairly close to the ends of the line. And then we'll trim the ends of the line just a little closer to the knot. We're almost ready to attach all these parts to the bottom of the tower. First, we need to install the 2 quick disconnects. First, we'll take the small black booster quick disconnect piece and install it onto the launch mount.
Wow. We're not done. We have another quick disconnect piece. Let's see here. Okay.
Just push the clip into the opening like this.
Push the clip into the opening like this. And I did it. Yeah. Okay.
Then we'll take the quick disconnect arm and place it into the bottom tower section.
We will take the quick disconnect arm and place it into the bottom tower section. So here's the
The
arm.
spot for it right here. The flat side of the quick disconnect arm will be facing up. For now,
The flat side will be facing up. Okay. Am I doing this right? Thank you for saying welcome home. So many of you. Mark, Usiak. I am happy to be home. I'm a little bit tired and we are building something. But again, I did a little recap of my trip to Ibiza, Barcelona, Venice, Florence, and Rome.
place it here.
Okay.
Now we're ready to install the top half of the tower and the catching arms.
The moment I've been waiting
First,
for.
get it lined up correctly. The overhang on the top of the tower faces towards the launch mount.
The overhang on the top of the tower faces toward the launch mount.
And the catching arms will go on that side too.
Okay. I think I'm doing this right.
Then we need to slide the catching arms onto the bottom tower section. You'll see that it fits around 3 of the rectangular columns on the
Whoa.
And you'll have to swivel the arms so they're facing towards the front to avoid the quick disconnect arm.
Okay, so I should be able to fit this and start sliding it down here. If I am doing this correctly. Oh, I am. Okay, so just to show you. So I put it on and I'm able to slide it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Make sure the line isn't tangled, and then just slide the catching arms down over the tower. Then we can clip the top tower section into the bottom tower section. Push down firmly without wiggling the tower too much. Now the quick disconnect arm is secure as well, and you should be able to pivot it along with the catching arms. You can also move the catching arms up and down using the hook on the back of the tower. Hook is also how you keep the arms at whatever position you want. Just hook it onto the back of the tower and the arms will stay. Alright, we finally get to assemble Starship itself.
Ooh.
We'll start with the ship. You need 3 parts: the main silver body, the nose cone, and the heat shield.
Okay, so yes, Lyfan, there is a Starship included that we are also going to have to assemble here. So again, this is an 18-piece 3D printed Starship venting humidifier that I did not realize was going to be so involved. However, have not had an issue yet. I mean, this is part of the reason I decided to do it live, is to see how easy it really is. So
First, clip the nose cone onto the main body. Obviously, the flat side.
First, clip the nose cone onto the main body. Woo! Up, ba.
Feet should line up.
Okay.
And always be a little gentle with these clips.
Be gentle.
Next, we'll clip these into the heat shield. So these two clips will fit into the spaces in the heat shield.
Okay, guys, we are going to put the heat shield on. This is kind of like a fun little Legos project. Hey! Woo!
This. Then you need to push down on the heat shield and up on the silver parts.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a little tough. Make sure it clips all the way in there.
Okay.
Now we'll set that down and get our super heavy booster and our grid fins. The grid fins will fit right into the top of the booster with the pointy sides facing down. Push it all the way down in those little gaps.
Pointy sides.
Now we'll install the booster into the launch mount. You'll see that the bottom of the booster.
Okay. Pointy sides facing down. Da, 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 da. Okay.
3 little flat areas and 3 holes. Those holes actually drain water away that condenses inside the booster and would otherwise block up the humidifier. The water drips out those holes and actually gets directed back into the reservoir. And then these 3 flat areas are where the launch mount holds the booster in place.
Okay.
So the correct way to orient the booster is with the grid fins sticking out towards the front and back of the base, and with one of those flat sections facing directly towards the front. So it should look like this, and then you can push down firmly into the launch mount. And next, we'll take the ship and clip it on to the top of the front.
Hold on.
The way to orient the booster is with the grid fins sticking out towards the front and back of the base, and with one of those flat sections facing directly towards the front. Okay, it's a little hard to see the orientation on this part, but hold on a second, guys. Yeah, the humility of all of this for a humidifier, but it's a humidifier that vents and it looks like the real thing. So we just got to hang in there a little longer and just get the orientation. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. It actually gets directed back into the reservoir. Okay, so get one of the flat areas are where the launch mount holds the booster in place. Okay. So the correct way to orient the booster is with the grid fins sticking out towards the front and back of the base, and with one of those flat sections facing directly towards the front. So it should look like this, and then you can push down firmly into the launch mount. And next, we'll take the ship and clip it. Okay, this part is a little bit confusing, guys, so bear with me for a second. Okay. This part, I'm a little scared I'm gonna break it, guys. Nope. Okay. Oh, I think it's all right. Into the top of the booster. Oh, Saturn 556 wants to know where are my glasses? I wore those glasses on the trip because I ran out of contacts. With the silver side towards the tower. We're almost done. One important note about our last piece here. The tank farm is actually what you want to use to fill up the reservoir. So if you flip it upside down and fill it with water, it will hold about the same amount of water as the reservoir holds. So you don't need to bring the entire assembly to the faucet, just the tank farm. Then you dump that water into the opening right here and place the tank farm on top.
Okay.
And everything is complete.
Okay. So now I got to fill this thing, dump it in, I think.
You can now plug it back in and enjoy.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm a little nervous about this. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay. We're in the home stretch, guys. We're in the home stretch. Let's dump this back in. I hope I don't ruin everything here. Okay. So I just put water in it. Again, this is a humidifier. Sorry that you can't see me. Marcus House. Marcus House. Apparently you have one of these. I decided to assemble it live. Everyone say hi to Marcus House. I'm sure you've heard of him before. He is one of our favorite YouTubers in Tasmania, Australia. So now I have put the water in here and put the tank farm on top. Marcus in the house. And let's see here. I think we just plug it in.
One quick note, if the reservoir has been dry for a while and you fill it up with water, it can take quite a few minutes for the wick to soak up the water and start creating water vapor. So don't worry if it takes a while to start venting. But that's it. I hope you enjoy your own personal starbase.
All right, so okay, let's see here. Okay, so here we are. And I'm going to turn it on. Wow! Okay, listen. I'm impressed. I am very impressed. I made this live. I assembled this live in one take. And it works. So it wasn't that hard, folks. It actually works. And it actually looks pretty good. So I guess you could say I'm happy to be an affiliate of Stardesk. I approve of this product, and it is a fun little project you can do. And honestly, doesn't it look pretty realistic? Like, this is pretty good. I'm going to change the mode now. So this mode is supposed to kind of go for about 5 or 10 seconds and then shut off and then go again. Thank you. You guys say that you're impressed. This worked out way better than I was expecting it to. And Marcus, thank you for joining the chat here. Great to hear from you. I know that we are all excited for... Oh, there is one problem, though. I got to get these arms on the right side. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do that in a second. Okay, take my money. Well, shit. Let me see if I have that link from them. Caleb, who... the website is really good, guys. The website is really good. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. But thank you for hanging in there and watching that. That was much easier than I was thinking it was going to be. Oh, what did I make my password? Okay, I might have to get my phone for that. How much is it? So there's 2 different options. And let me see if I can just hold on. Oh, no, that's not going to go down. Okay. Sorry, I thought that was going to go down there. Okay, so I want to get the only thing that I messed up was putting the ship on before the arms. So maybe I can... It's going to be kind of hard to do. Oh, hey, okay. There we go. And so you can move. Oh, Marcus says the SLS version is also pretty neat. I have that one too, just not on display. cool. I did see that they have 2 of those, and they are pretty interesting. I will say, holding it up like this, it is it's not very stable. So a lot better to show you here. Maybe I can switch the camera. Okay, hold on. I'm going to switch to my not so good camera for a second so that you can see. So that you can see it. So you can adjust the chopsticks, which is pretty cool. And then to hook it, you just pick one of the little grids. How neat is that? So that is, and so yes, Marcus is correct. There is a Starbase option here that you see. There is also a SLS version. So maybe I'll have them send me that, but I have it in the mode where it pauses every 5 or 10 seconds or so. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. I think that it was a lot easier to assemble than I was expecting. It looks extremely realistic and it is pretty cool. I have had a lot of 3D printed stuff sent to me, and this is even cooler because it's like interactive like this. So I like it. Let me see if I can get you guys more information if you want one, because some of you guys are asking me how much it costs. But let's see here. I really think it's cool. I don't know if you guys can see the venting very well. But yeah, like I said, they shipped it very quickly, and you can print one yourself. So if you would rather do that, you can actually have that option here. Okay, let me log in really quickly. And then, okay, I am going to, let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to attach this for you guys here. And I'm going to see if this link works because I haven't actually tried it yet. So, paste. Okay. All right. How long does it last with the water you add? That is a great question. I'm probably not going to have it running all the time, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to copy and paste the link right now and let me know if it works on your end, please, because Caleb reached out to me when I was on the road and I am just getting back. Okay, Marcus says it lasts about 2 hours. Thank you for helping me answer these questions. So there is the link. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me as we talked about my trip. We built something together. It has been a journey these past 2 hours. And I will say I'm extremely happy that I'm back in time for all of the Starship and Cybertruck madness that is just soon to ensue here in Texas. So very excited for that. But here we go. 2 hours on intermittent mode, not real sure on the first mode. So okay, so it looks like I think the 3D printed version that you assemble like I did is about $80, and the one that you just print yourself is I think $45 or so. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how easy it was to set up. I doubted myself and I did it. So you can do it too. But it is pretty cool, and it is a great time to have something like this because I'm hoping that Starship launch is coming pretty soon. I'm ready. I want to drive my Tesla down there. I still haven't drove my car down there yet. So just ready to have it happen. But thank you for watching and listening to me talk about my trip. And it's nice to be back. I'm glad to hear some of you guys missed me. I guess I don't know why I expect or that I don't expect that. But you know, it still is pretty crazy, the thought that I quit my job in TV news to become a full-time YouTuber. I'm sure that Marcus can relate. Thank you, Marcus says, well done. Nice, you've had a great break away. Yes, I was gone 16 days and saw many countries I've never been before, and it was really it's so great to be able to see different parts of the world and see different ways that people live. And I think it's completely important for everyone to do that at least once in their lives. But yes, I will be adding this item for you guys if you also want your own. I think it's pretty cool. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. So I will be making a video tomorrow for the Now You Know team. I'm doing a weekly segment for them, and I want to make an update video soon here. It's kind of conflicting what we're hearing. Elon posted yesterday replying to the FAA saying, so what are the 63 items? So that was an interesting reply to see. So I'm not sure how much of those 63 items, those corrective actions, have been completed. It seems as though many have been, and your guess is as good as mine. It's really hard to know until we're only a few days away. So it's unfortunately one of those scenarios where if you don't live in Texas or you can't readily travel, you might not make it, but I will be there for you. And yes, I like this idea of adding a scent. So maybe I'll message the people and see if I can put a little drop of something in this. I think it would be better if it had a scent. But thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy my Now You Know collaboration. If you guys don't know who Now You Know, it's a father and son duo out in Boston area, and they have a Tesla channel, and they kind of cover all things Elon Musk. So they've been letting me produce a SpaceX segment, 2 to 3 minutes. And so that's been really fun. And so, yeah, I'm thankful because they have an audience of, over 300,000 people. So it's really, really helpful to have more exposure on bigger channels. So thank you guys for hanging out. I am tired, to be honest with you. So I am going to probably go read more of my book, Silence of the Lambs. This thing's getting really good. And thanks for hanging out with me. I missed you guys. I'm back, and we're ready for madness here in Texas because we got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you for watching.